Hi friends, good morning, or it's certainly good morning here, but good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world and whatever space you may be in listening. So welcome, it's Dr. Isla Fishburne of Kachina Canine, interspecies channeler, and returning you to ceremony with your animal friend. And so just bringing you a channeled message, seeing who wishes to speak, share, to bring forward their wisdom. So if I could please have your hearts and have your ears, and I trust that you receive well. And so let's just drop into that space of listening, feeling, and welcoming that receiving. We do not want you to be over concerned about your life. We do not want you to waste special moments of your life, precious moments of your life. We do not exist in this nature. We are not existing, wondering, worrying. Removing ourself from the moment and placing ourselves in what may be. What may be already is. Your life is precious. Your life is sacred, as all life is. And sacred does not waste space, does not waste precious moments of life. By being overly concerned, by being overly focused on what may be of what is to be. All outcomes, any outcome may be, that is the spiraling of life, that if you exist in this sacred space, if you exist from sacred, if you can view yourself and all of life as sacred, then that will make all the difference. That will make all the difference to your life and to all of life, to all lives. Be not on a roller coaster of desire, be not on a roller coaster of desperation, do not be on a roller coaster of concern. be in the space of sacred, that you are having a sacred journey, that you are in a sacred moment. And all that is to be experienced is sacred. This may be uncomfortable for you to contemplate, of all that exists in your life, of all that exists in life, that does not appear to be sacred. How can it be seen as sacred? These things are moments upon moments upon moments that have been created. Moments upon moments upon moments where life was not seen as sacred. And these show themselves, these reveal themselves to show what happens and what is happening. When we do not exist as sacred, when we do not see life as sacred, and you may see the life of another as sacred, but do you see your own life as sacred? That is where to begin. Seeing your own life as sacred, that is where to begin. There is much for you to explore. There is much for you to return to. But you already exist as sacred. And your sacredness, your sacred ways, your sacred behavior, your sacred functioning, it is needed. It is being asked for. It is wanted and it is welcomed. The sacred nature of your way. The sacred nature of your way. What is this for you? Find it and become it. What is the sacred nature of your way? And find it and become it. When you exist in this sacred nature, that is who you are. Then your abilities and your capabilities will stretch you so much further than the way that you may overcomplicate your life. It will stretch you so much further than the contemplation of your life. It will stretch you into a place where this contemplation is not needed, is not to be had. Where you just know and there is. This does not mean that there may not be vibrations, not be causes, not be energies to be cleaned, to be cleared, to be eradicated. That is the part and path of becoming sacred. And when you have not been living in a sacred way, these other things latch on to you, latch into you. The path of the sacred is the path of the clearing. The path of the sacred is the path of the cleaning. This is what we are doing. We proudly clean ourselves. We proudly stand on the path of the sacred. And clean it, clear it. That is why there is so many of us, for there is so much clearing to do. But it is possible. We are able to clear and clean for you, but it requires for you to know of your sacred way. It requires you to exist from that space of sacred. We cannot do it all for you, and we are not able. That is not the way. It is not the way for the want of another to do it for you. The sacred does not exist in this way. The sacred holds true. The sacred holds nature of what must be done and what it must do. And so there is no getting out of it. There is no getting away from it. There is no way to avoid it. That the way of the sacred must be done by yourself, for yourself. We exist already on this platform of sacred. And we ask you to raise your platform so that your platform is on the level of the sacred. You have always been sacred and you always will be sacred. You have not been here for that long, and your sacred nature is much longer, much, much longer. Your sacred nature has been around for much longer than yourself. And so your sacred nature knows. Your sacred nature is already intelligent. Your sacred nature has its own intelligence that is longer than what you are, that has been around for longer than what you have been now. And so this is your existence of your sacred nature, your sacred ways that have been around for longer than yourself. In that way, they do not need to be learned, they do not need to be taught, they do not need to be studied. For they have existed always. And you and we have not existed always. We have not always existed. But we have always existed in this sacred way, in this sacred nature. When you can be in your sacred nature, when you can be in your sacred ways, there you will come home, there you will know of yourself and feel so comfortably at home. There you will not concern yourself of your life, you will not over contemplate it. or over focus on it. That is not the life of a sacred. That is having a life but yet no life at all. Where precious moments are being wasted by the very over focus, over complication, over concern of what is to be, of what may be. Sacred does not exist from this place. That is not the way. And if you choose to exist from this place, it is living, but not living at all. You are having a life, but no life at all. And then what? And then what? Then you will wish for life again. You will wish and that is not able to happen. Another life may be, but you are in this life now. You are in this life now, and do not waste precious moments of it. See yourself as sacred, and do not waste precious moments of it. Tell yourself in this moment, I am having a sacred life, and tell yourself it again in this moment, I am having a sacred life, and tell yourself again in this moment, I am having a sacred life. And as you tell yourself this, then you will be in a sacred life. You will be experiencing a sacred life. You will know of your sacred nature, and you will be in it. All life is sacred, and this includes yourself. All life is sacred, and this begins with yourself. What can you do today to allow yourself to feel sacred? What can you do today to exist from your sacred nature? What notices you and what gets your attention? Your sacred nature is not bound to what your senses show you and what you may tell yourself. That is input, that is information. But are you allowing yourself input? Are you allowing yourself information from the platform of your sacred nature? Be careful of what conditions you give to yourself through your senses. Be careful of what you tell yourself, your senses say to you. They are giving you information, yes, but in a way that has been taught to you. But remember, you have not been here for long, and your sacred nature has been around for much longer, much longer. What is it that this sacred nature tells you? What input does it give you? What information does it share to you? What do you know? When you allow the input of your sacred nature, there you will see the sacred that exists. There you will see the sacred that exists. The sacred that exists in you, the sacred that exists all around you, the sacred that exists in those spaces that you cannot readily see, you cannot readily know, but yet you are aware of their sacred ways. Just like a globe of the earth, a globe of the earth that you can visually see, that you are aware of. This globe of the earth is also covered in a globe of the sacred. The entire globe of earth is sacred. The entirety of existence is sacred. And you are part of this. In this life now, you are part of this. And out of your life, you are part of this. And so as you see the earth as a globe, see this globe placed in a layer of sacred, that it is coated and covered in sacred, and live from your sacred nature. Just as all is doing. When you do not live from your sacred nature, it is not able to be recognized, for it is hidden. It is the sacred nature that reveals the sacred of life. It is the sacred nature of yourself that can show you the sacred nature of life, and how to be with the sacred nature of life. We are with you to remind you of this. We are with you to try and keep you in this as best as we can. But it requires your effort also. It requires you to do so. The sacred nature of your life is what we wished to share to you here, and we have shared it. We ask you to study it, not in a way of examining, but experiencing. For you are already sacred, as we are already sacred, as all is already sacred. See the sacred ways of yourself, and then see the sacred ways of all that exists with you. See our sacred ways, ways that may be different to yours, but all has their own sacred ways. And as you become sacred again, as you become your sacred nature, you will not question these sacred ways. You will not dismiss these sacred ways. You will not discount these sacred ways. You will welcome them. You will see them. And you will know and tell yourself that this being is being in its sacred way. This being is doing from its sacred way, and that will not be questioned. That may be explored. It may bring curiosity. But there will be conversation about this being over here, this being over there, this dog, cat, animal, plant, water, stone, all. Whatever it is that you see, you will acknowledge that it is doing from its sacred way, and that you recognize its sacred way. As you recognize its sacred, and as you recognize its sacred, you recognize the sacred that you are and your own sacred way. All things have their own sacred way in the sacredness of life. This coating, this film, that is placed all around, that is the sacredness of life and the sacred ways. You will know this when you become sacred. You will know this when you live from your sacred ways, when you live from your sacred nature. We repeat, this sacred nature has been around for much, much, much longer than yourself. And so it is easy enough to access. Your sacred nature has been around for much longer than yourself. And it is as easy as picking up a coat. It is as easy as dressing yourself, picking up your sacred way, your sacred nature. That is longer than what you have been in this life, what you are in this life. And so this sacred nature is there. It is already there and has been there, has always been there. All that is needed is for you to pick it up and exist from it. Do not waste any more of this sacred space, sacred moments of your life. Or you will ask for your life again, and that cannot happen. Be in the timeless time, the endless time of sacred space, of sacred. That felt really powerful. I am going to sit with that again, listen to it again, and probably again, and probably again, and probably again. Thank you for listening. I trust that you received in the way that was needed and the way that may be needed as you sit with this also again and again and again, if that feels right for you. Oh, so thank you. Thank you for being here and listening. Yeah, it was the Canine People. I wasn't sure who was going to come through until I was in that space, but it was Lilu came in really strong, and then from Lilu it expanded into the Canine People, the collective consciousness of canines. So beautiful wisdom that they brought to us. So I'll see you on the next one. Many blessings.